Welcome back to A Celtic State of Mind. I'm Paul John Dykes, and this afternoon I'm joined by Sean Conley, Kevin McCluskey, and Chris McElwain. We're here to discuss the first 45, Celtic 2, Dundee United 0. Chris, I think all of our predictions are up at the moment. That was a really, really positive first half.
It was. It's been good. Lots of good play, lots of good individual performances. Couple of standouts. I think we've got to give a mention to the captain for one excellent goal and then nearly another an excellent chance he had as well. He looks as though he's in the mood today. Jeff Schlupp, I think, has been phenomenal. Again, I'll temper that by saying, this is, domestic football in Scotland, but by God, he looks excellent. Really solid. Good use of the ball. And actually, you were talking about partnerships in the pre-match. Looks like he's building up a really good understanding with Jota already. And then, that brings us to the superstar from Portugal. I mean, the quality he's brought just in a short space of time since coming back is so evident. We're seeing things that we never saw at all from Luis Palma. He brings an element. He's got great distribution, great use of the ball at his feet, and he's a goal threat. I mean, what more do you want from your number 7?
Well, again, it's an iconic number, and I think it can weigh heavy on some players. Jota seems to be taking it in his stride. I do want to talk about Jota, Callum McGregor, of course, Yang, who's on this run of assists, and Schlupp Dog, as Paddy Lavery has just named him, and I'm taking that and I'm going to run with it. Schlupp Dog, indeed. Let's start off with him then, because in terms of goals, we'll come to the goals. But I just think, his performance in that first half, Kevin, was brilliant. Schlupp. Obviously, there was one wee cross that went awry, but when you're talking about being an athletic or a combative player, there's your man. There was twice that I looked at him and I just thought to myself, sharp in the tackle, really powerful. He's got a fast ton of pace. He's got all of that kind of stuff, everything that you really need at the higher levels. And he's shown it today against Dundee United domestically. I thought he had a really good first half.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is his best 45 minutes in his fledgling Celtic career. You'd definitely say that. He's had a couple of games to kind of bed himself into the team, and today I'm not going to say cementing his place, but he's looking like he belongs in that team. I think he's had a really good first half. I've got a couple of notes about him, and one of them comes about the 29th minute or something like that, where there's a long ball gets played over the top into the left back area. It's that long ball that Greg Taylor gets caught out with time and time again, the one that he got caught out with on Wednesday night. And it's like the second or third time that Schlupp's dealt with it. And that's what we're missing. Yeah. That's what we've been missing for a while. He does bring that physicality, he brings a little bit extra height in that area. He's cutting out that pass, his positional play in and out of possession today, I think he's been excellent. There's a couple of times where he's made, or one time rather, where he'd made not the last ditch tackle, but he was a last man kind of tackle to prevent a breakaway, which is huge. I think that's at 1-0, so 2-0, sorry. So
no, I'm saying he did it twice as well.
He did it twice, sorry. So well, that's doubly more impressive than what I've put down for him there. And then going forward, noticing the way that Jota's playing as well, it's allowing him that extra space to come inside. So he becomes, I mean, there's times we've had 5 across the front line, and Schlupp's been one of them. He's been like the inside left to Jota's outside left. You've got Ida at centre forward, Yang, Ralston on the other side. So we're getting plenty of bodies forward, and Schlupp has been a big part of that. Like I said, positionally, defensively, excellent, really good, giving us another option going forward. He's unlucky not to score with that shot.
Good effort.
And as soon as he hits it, I'm thinking Sean's bet's up. He's called that one before the game. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. But I think he's looked the part, and he's fitting the profile of the player that we've been missing at left back.
Well, we talk about profiles, don't we? And a lot of the big things that we focus on is physicality. And, I go back to the Champions League campaign under Ange Postecoglou, where we spoke to Alan Morrison, and he was talking about that. He says this is where, we look at a midfield and think it's brilliant, but we lack physicality. And I think we've added to that with the likes of Engels, who brings that to the party. And then I've mentioned this already. When you look at this season signings and you talk about physicality and you look at Schmeichel, and then you move into Trusty, Engels, Ida, and I think Schlupp is of that mould, Sean. Some great comments coming through. And as Kev says, he's shown it defensively. One of the tackles that you're talking about was on the other side of the park. He's playing left.
Yeah.
The right-hand side. The other one, the turn of pace was sensational. And then, of course, going forward, he's looked good as well. He's linking up well with Jota, and he gets his own shot in. I never say shot off. I think that's modern stuff, lads. I don't say that. He got a shot in, and he hit the post. So, you know what? It's too early to say, I think, Sean, in terms of whether or not he's an upgrade or should he play on Tuesday night. But that's the kind of conversations that I can see in the comments. What did you make of his first half performance?
Yeah, his one-on-one defending was excellent, as Kev mentioned. Yeah, I was very impressed with that. I think he's very much getting into the mold of the system now. I only noted mentally one occasion where he and Jota kind of got their wires crossed and kind of ran into each other and both tried to play the ball at the same time. But I thought apart from that, they were both excellent foils for each other. Overlapping runs, drawing the man away, being available. I thought they've got a good understanding already within just a few weeks. So I thought that was impressive. But yeah, Schlupp has been excellent. I think Jota has also been excellent. Other than the goalies, I mean, look, up until Kalmak scores, Dundee United have just got the lowest of low blocks. Like, every player is in their thirds. There's just no exception. It's just so deep. Yeah. And up to the point where McGregor scores, the only thing we've got is crosses into the box and shots from outside the box by Adam Ida. So literally their goalkeeper's not made a save other than the back pass from Ida that he picks up. And then McGregor just like, right, okay, we need to get a little bit of quality here. We need to get a shot in the box. So he picks it up. He's about 30 yards out, beats a man, Alan Campbell. Welcome back to Scotland, Alan Campbell. Leaves him for dead. Does a couple of feints, and that's like the Dundee United goalkeeper still not made a save, and he's picking that out of the net from Kalmak. And I think Jota basically does the same thing. He cuts inside out of nowhere. It's basically such a low block, such a defensive wall from Dundee United that the two goals both come from just individual pieces of brilliance. I mean, does Jota make a difference? Well, the answer to that question is a rhetorical question. Does Yang score a goal at Jota if he's out on that side? I know we're having a bit of a Yang loving at the moment, but Yang doesn't score that goal. So that's your difference, right? Two individual, and again, Walton's not made a save, and he's 2-0 down. So the Dundee United team defends very well, and I think the only thing that the Dundee keeper does do is, and the only chance that the only other real big standout chance that fell to us was the Ida header that he does really well to save, and I think statistically the Dundee United goalkeeper is one of the best in the league. So I'm not knocking him at all, but it was. Look, we have played well as a team. We've retained possession. We've won a lot of battles individually, but to actually beat that really solid defensive wall that Dundee United have, it took two real standout moments, one from the captain and one from Jota. And we talked pre-match about the hot and cold of Kalmak. Well, he's hot today.
Yeah, two pieces of magic. You're absolutely right. Sometimes that's what you need. That's what was lacking at Tannadice, remember, Sean, where it was just like loads of possession. Exactly. And we just didn't have that spark. Some brilliant comments coming in. Keep them coming. Barry O'Sullivan, always a pleasure to see you coming in on the YouTube. Really good half from the boys. Kalmak, Jota with two superb goals. Just what Sean was talking about there, because it can become frustrating if we don't have those moments of magic. Ian Corbett, for someone who might not be up to speed, Jota is playing well again. Can't wait to see him when he is fully match fit and up to speed. Remember the press conference that was attended by Acsom, and people were a bit concerned about the fact that he'd lost a few pounds. A few pounds. Yeah, I don't think you get away with that one. A few pounds, and he looked a bit weaker than he did when he left Celtic. I always remember he had bulked up a bit by the time he won the treble. So yes, that will come. Squeak 1888. Casper there just collecting a wage. Happy for that. Schlupp been very good, and what a cracking shot he had. I've been really impressed with Schlupp, by the way. And Danny Boy says he must start on Tuesday. We've got a few others. Lucy reminding us that we're 16 points clear at the top. Enjoy it. Jota is flying, says John Milan, and Ewan Boy Martin keeps the Sloop Dog thing going. Big upgrade on Taylor. There's going to be discussions around that, but let's move on to the goals then before we get back to the second half action. Callum McGregor, his eighth goal of the season.
Eighth goal. Yeah.
He's only got to double figures twice in his Celtic career, Chris, and it looks as though he's going to get there this season and some. But for some strange reason, he has come in for a lot of criticism this season. And then he just reminds us why he's there and what he can do. And every single goal he scored this season will be part of his show reel. They've all been belters, from 18, 20 yards. And as Sean said, we needed that. We had to carve them open with a moment of magic, and he led the way.
Yeah, but it's been a frustration at times this season, and actually even into last season, that when teams are playing this really low block against us, as Sean pointed out, that we're not necessarily taking the impetus and actually, somebody taking responsibility, driving into the box the way Callum did there. I think, it shows when you take a little bit of ownership and you show the initiative and and it looks easy for me to say, right, but you take the ball and you carry it forward, you can make something happen. And it was a tremendous goal. I mean, great footwork. Picked his spot absolutely beautifully. It was really, really good. And I think, okay, he scored 8 goals this season, but what a collection of 8 goals that is. I mean, it's been some absolute worldies. Somebody made a good point in the Acsom group chat. I forget who it was, but I thought they made a really good point about McGregor. When he plays more as that kind of playmaking, attacking midfielder, I think you see the best of Callum McGregor, particularly at this stage in his career. When you absolve him of some of that defensive responsibility, I think you do get, you get the real top player that Callum McGregor is. And listen, that's not to denigrate his ability in the defensive midfield role. I think he's done a great job there, largely over the piece. I just think now at the point in his career and the level we're playing at, particularly in Europe, it's a really hard role to play. And I think that's where he's come in for criticism this season. But when you see him playing today, where he doesn't necessarily have to do as much of that defensive, take on as much of that defensive responsibility, he actually takes the responsibility of driving the team forward. Picks up the ball, forward thinking, either forward passes or forward runs. And as we've seen, with some absolutely cracking goals this season, he puts another one right into the net, and it's a beauty. And he nearly had another one. Nearly did it again shortly afterwards. So he looks in the mood. He looks in the mood today, but I wouldn't say that the criticism he's had this season is necessarily undeserved. I just think we have to contextualise it in terms of the role that he's having to play at times.
I find some knee-jerk. I think, McGregor's got such credit in the bank that if he has a bad half, we're hearing in the comments, hook him, he's done, his legs are gone. And you're thinking, come on, like you say, let's look at the context of his entire season. Yeah. He's probably having one of the best seasons of his life in terms of an attacking force. Yes. Yep, our superstar from Portugal heard the song being sang, Thomas. Impressed by our new left back, as Celtic follower. Cannot get a decent stream 2025 or shambles. Craig, I think it's a shambles that games like this can't be shown somewhere live. I mean, okay, it's Saturday at 3 o'clock, but today's probably a sellout. I know there's empty seats because, we don't have a ticket exchange scheme, etc. But you'd think in this day and age that you could show a game like that live. Good to see the fact that it's on Amazon Prime on Tuesday night, by the way.
Yes.
Against Bayern Munich. Jota is flying, John. And John Sweeney comes in to say, Sloop, it just gives you that physical presence that you need, especially in European games. And finally, Barry O'Sullivan, Jeffrey Sloop looks so comfortable at this level, goes in the team for Tuesday. That's a big talking point that I'm pretty sure we'll have. Listen, see when you see 2 great goals like that, Kevin, I always feel guilty giving anybody an assist, because the assist was just to give them the ball at some point, in the move. Jota did all the work, McGregor did all the work, but the first goal is another Yang assist. He's on a run, isn't he? 2 against Wraith Rovers, one against Bayern Munich, and now 1 today. And he has looked lively and he's looked busy in that first half. He's quite happy and confident at driving at the defenders. And he's created quite a few chances, quite a few balls into Ida as well. And you've seen Ralston overlapping him like we thought he might. He's had a decent first half, Kev.
He has. He's looked more lively and busy than I ever did as a left winger when I was playing. I know he's on the right, but anyway. He's looked lively and busy in a very positive sense, and he's always been asking for the ball again. Every time he's got it, he's tried to make something happen. He has tried to go forward. It's a rare sight that he's actually wanting to try and take his man on. or commit him somehow, which is good to see. And he's got an assist when I've been watching and doing a live stream. So I'm very happy with that. He can do it in front of me, which is always the big test. It's not about doing it on a cold Tuesday night in Stoke. It's about doing it in front of me. So he's passed that test. And, for Callum's goal being a great individual goal, he doesn't score it if Yang doesn't play the pass. So let's give him that wee bit of credit for that. He does deserve it. He has done.
Yeah.
He did have a good first half. I see the teams are back out for the second. So if he can keep that going in this half, then maybe I'll get my 3-1 or Chris will get his 4-0 prediction.
Hopefully it's a 4-0. And as Kevin says, the teams are on the park. Go and enjoy the second half and join us at full time on A Celtic State of Mind.